Doing business in Canada, is it the same as doing business in other countries? Well, there's two ways that you can have the wrong approach in this journey. The first thing is to consider that, well, Canada is a country of immigrants, so I can do business here just like I can do in other places because I know a lot of people from my country of origin that are already here, already talked to them, so I already figured it out. Well, be careful with that approach. I'm going to explain why. The other thing that is a common mistake is to think that, well, Canada is very similar to the US, to the United States, it's nearby, and I've already done business in the United States, so it's just an extension. I'm ready to do business in Canada. Also be careful. So it's not the case. Let's see why here in this video. There's a link here in the description where I can show you how we help businesses in different stages of the journey at different sizes in this journey to come to Canada. But let's jump on the content here. Like 4 things that are really important to understand. The first thing that I want to share with you is that in Canada, you should always prepare to have short meetings, and these meetings would start sharp on time. That has nothing to do with a moral compass or the way they need to start on time. It's a very practical consideration, really, because Canada is a very do-it-yourself society, very different, certainly from my country of origin, and perhaps different from many of your countries of origin, where here it's do-it-yourself. So even a senior executive at a big company still has personal responsibilities at home in terms of their calendar. They have to get home, they have to mow the lawn, they have to clean the snow from their driveway, they need to take their son or their daughter to a hockey game. All that makes for a little more compressed working day in terms of a calendar. So what that means is that people have less time for you. So if you want to have a conversation, if you were able to open time in somebody's schedule, that time is going to be tight. 30 minutes is the norm. Maybe you get 1 hour, right? But make sure you are there exactly on time. There's very little tolerance for people not showing up on time and trying to overextend beyond the time allotted to a meeting. So prepare for short meetings, starting sharp on time. Second point, and that's a very common mistake that I see people, especially from emerging countries, meaning countries that have low cost base. There's a tendency here to think that I'm gonna talk about price. I'm gonna show them that I have great quality, but I have lower price. And that's what's gonna create the opportunity for me so they can buy from me. I would be very careful with that approach. Because here in Canada, we have a saying, every one of us says, it's like, you get what you pay. So if one of the first things you're trying to put in the conversation is that your price is lower, automatically it's gonna trigger in a Canadian brain, you must have lower quality. No matter how much evidence you're showing that you have great quality, emotionally, they're gonna be thinking, you have lower quality because you introduced lower price too early in your conversation. So of course Canadians like a bargain. We all want to buy something that has great quality but lower cost. But that should come later in the conversation, never in the beginning. So let's discuss price only after we talked about the value proposition, how we solve your problem better than anybody else, how smooth it's gonna be to buy from us, how easy it is gonna be, how you don't have to worry about impact, a negative impact in your organization, your people, or anything else. Oh, by the way, we're also cheaper. That's the way to go, okay? So the third common mistake that we see people making here when coming to Canada, especially if they're coming from emerging countries. Again, our focus is mostly emerging countries, right? Never ask for personal information when you were trying to sign a business document. Let me explain what I mean with that. In many countries, you will, as part of a commercial contract, of a business contract, you will need to identify with a lot of clarity who's the person who's signing. And sometimes you put number of their ID, number of their tax document, or their personal home address or something like that. Because that's how you make sure that the person who's signing that document is on the hook. It's going to be responsible for what they're signing. Here we have a different legal system. We have a high trust society. So if you're signing on behalf of the business, there's going to be a phrase there saying, I can sign on behalf of the business. And that's it. If you signed on behalf of the business and you couldn't, that little phrase there puts you in a fraud situation. So people will trust that you're signing on behalf of the business. They're not going to ask you for your personal social insurance number or for your ID document or your home address. So if you come here and you ask a Canadian all this information, it's going to sound very weird. They're not going to be, well, why is this person asking me this kind of thing? This is so unprofessional. Why they want to know about all my personal information? So be careful. Never ask for personal information when you're discussing a business document. And a very important point here, point number 4, is it's vital for you to show commitment to integrate in the local business community. What do I mean by that? Just opening a sales office, it's not enough. So just saying, yeah, we have a sales guy here and we have everything ready back home to deliver to you whenever you want. People want to see that you're more committed than that. Because if you only talk about a sales office, that's all you have to show here, what people will be thinking is like, you only want my money, you only want my wallet, and where's the commitment? How do I know you're gonna be there for me when something goes wrong? We need to find a much more robust way to show that we're committed to Canada. And that can be in many ways. It can be that you're doing an innovation project, or it can be that you hired already a lot of Canadians, or somebody that's a key decision maker in the business has moved and is living in Canada now and being part of the community. But you definitely need to show that you have a strong commitment to the local business community in Canada. It's not just like, hire a salesperson and let's make the sale. So going back to my original points here, how do we adjust this approach? Yes, it's true, Canada is a country of immigrants, but perhaps all of us immigrants that came to live in Canada, the reason we chose Canada in the first place instead of choosing many other places we could have gone to is that we already had a certain alignment with the way things are done in Canada. So yes, although we are immigrants, but we are very well integrated with the Canadian ways. And of course, Canadian ways changes over time because it integrates increasingly the new cultures of people that are coming here. So, but don't think just that there's a lot of immigrants there, so I'm gonna do business like I did back home because I know there's a lot of people originally from my country, so I can just carry on. It's not gonna work, because even the people who are from your country of origin, maybe they're here because they think a little bit differently, because they thought a little bit different, even when they lived back home. The other point about Canada and the US being different, one key difference here is we tend to see in Canada things are more relationship driven as opposed to just transactional. Let's close a deal, good price, let's buy and let's move on. Canada, it drives you crazy sometimes because the timing to close a deal is extended. It takes longer for the decision. Canadians take a little longer to make the decisions and to trust. And this extends the lead times to close deals. Well, click the link in the description of this video if you want to learn more about how we can help in your journey to bring your business to Canada, or if you're already in Canada, how you can grow your business here. Thank you.